Season 1.
So season 1, where it all began. Now, season 1, I think it might have a little bit of a complicated legacy. On one hand, it kind of kick-started the whole 80s revival thing that was so dominant in the latter half of the 2010s, where you couldn't see any movie without it being like 80s inspired, 80s themed. And honestly, that got kind of tiresome. It's something that still kind of is relevant to this day with like pop stars like Dua Lipa or the Weeknd going for an 80s aesthetic in their music. So if you're looking for 80s nostalgia, Stranger Things was kind of like the Kickstarter point for that. I mean, it's why it was also so popular. It even had Finn Wolfhard in it. Another thing that I think kind of complicates the legacy of Stranger Things season 1 is all the script debacle thing. A lot of people claim that the Duffer Brothers stole the script from somebody else, or at least stole some pretty major ideas from the script of season 1. And so you can believe whatever you want to believe about that, but just kind of going into season 1, you know that there's some complications with it. I guess you could also say with season 1 that there aren't too many like truly original ideas, that they took everything that's really great from various other better IPs, like E.T. by Steven Spielberg, or Firestarter, or Carrie, or whatever else it might be, whatever other 80s IP they took from. But what I think Stranger Things season 1 does very well, there are 3 things. First off is the characters, and I think we can all get behind this. The character writing in season 1 is very good. Every character has a very distinct and memorable introduction. You have Eleven, and she goes and she meets the one guy at like the restaurants, and that scene is very memorable. I won't spoil it for anyone who maybe hasn't seen season 1.
No, what are you talking about?
Okay, yeah. So that scene of her being taken in by the guy at the restaurant, only for him to call public services, and they shoot him. Very great scene to introduce this little 11 character.
Important to know, Child Protective Services doesn't shoot him, the government does.
The government shoot him. Yeah, very great point. Thank you, Ezra.
CPS oxen just
but the character writing across the board is very good. Hopper has a lot of moments to shine in this season. I think he's actually the best in season 1. The most fun character in season 1, arguably. And Joyce. Now, Joyce, I think they kind of did her dirty in the rest of the series. She was the top billed actress in season 1, and I think she deserves that title. She was basically the main character of season 1, and she's very, very great as this like mother that is desperately looking for her son Will throughout the course of the season. So the character writing across the board, basically very good. Also say the 4 main kids, Mike, Dustin, Lucas, Elle, all of those performances, very naturalistic, very great. I remember when the season came out, that was like one of the biggest amounts of praise that people gave the show, was how realistic the kids felt. They were always swearing. They were playing Dungeons and Dragons. They were riding around on bikes. They just basically felt like
except for Finn Wolfhard.
From Finn Wolfhard. Why do you say that?
Oh, do you not know this story? He didn't know how to ride a bike in season 1, so they had a double riding the bike, and they CGI'd his face over it. That's also why in the D&D scene, like, the other 3 kids bike away, and Mike stays at home because bro can't bike.
So all the kids except for Finn Wolfhard were riding around on the bike.
Yeah, it's hilarious. The behind the scenes is wild.
That's really funny.
CGI this kid instead of teach him how to ride a bike.
Literally, that's what they did.
I mean, it can't be that hard to learn how to ride a bike, right? So yeah, anyways, characters, that's I think the number one thing that the season 1 does very well. The second thing I think it does very well is the tone and the mystery of it. You go back and you rewatch season 1, and there's just a great atmosphere throughout everything. It feels like one of those contained sci-fi mystery shows where it actually does feel like strange things are happening in the show. And I think that the show does kind of lose its edge as it goes along. That in the first season, you were constantly like, oh, what's happening? Like, what is actually going on? There's weird things happening in this town, and you want to find out what's actually going on. And by the last season, you basically know all the mysteries, all the strange things that are going on in the show. And I miss when Stranger Things felt like a mystery, and you were kind of unraveling all the different elements of the show as you were going throughout the season.
Reggie just got sucked into the Upside Down.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't even know like what the Upside Down was or what Demogorgons were. So with each reveal, it genuinely felt intriguing and interesting. And I mentioned earlier that maybe there are too many ideas that are taken from other 80s IPs or franchises, famous movies. But I genuinely think that the Upside Down, and the way they revealed what the Upside Down was and who Eleven was and the Demogorgons, they revealed it in a very interesting way to keep you engaged from start to finish. And then the third thing I think season 1 does very well are just the individual moments. Like, you look back on season 1 and there are so many incredible scenes. You think of the scene where Joyce puts up all the Christmas lights on the room and writes the letters up there and communicates with Will to the Upside Down through the lights up on the wall. Fantastic scene. As a matter of fact, I kind of feel like Stranger Things peaked there. Like, that was just such a clever.
Really?
Yeah. I think season 1 is the best season.
Everything after that episode.
No, yeah, but it was such a cool way to show her communicating with the Upside Down and with Will, and then the Demogorgon comes through the wall, and that was such a crazy scene.
There weren't enough Christmas lights in the subsequent seasons, Ezra.
Yeah, exactly. Give me more Christmas lights in seasons 2 through 5. Come on now. Yeah. Lots of things coming through the walls in later seasons. Not enough Christmas lights.
They're in the walls.
Then you have the scene of like Eleven flipping the truck, which is so fun, or of her saving.
Keep that in mind, folks.
Remember that.
Okay. All right, we're gonna remember that. Okay.
In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
Mike jumping off the cliff and Eleven having to come and save him from the bullies and breaking the bully's arm. That's such a great scene. You have when Hopper goes in and stabs the dummy of Will and like realizes that it's a fake. That's such a great scene. Just like moment for moment, so many memorable, iconic bits from season 1. And that was really what set it apart from other seasons of television that were going on at the time. It was just so beat for beat, really iconic, fun, engaging. It had a great nostalgic vibe. But then it was also a very genuinely interesting mystery. Now, okay, let me open up this discussion with you guys, because I've heard this several times from different creators, that people think the show should have been an anthology show, something like True Detective, where each season it follows a different cast of characters that deal with different quote unquote Stranger Things. Do we not think that would have been the better course for the show?
No.
You like that we stuck with the same characters throughout? Why is that?
Because they're.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think the characters are kind of what make it special, and while they are really good in season 1, I think especially in subsequent seasons, specifically, there's another season that I think does the characters really strongly, and a lot of those payoffs I think are more impactful than some of the payoffs in season 1. I can't really imagine it being like a Black Mirror. And to be fair, like Hawkins and the mythos and all of that, like if we went over to Russia right off the bat or something else, there's so much mystery still after season 1 that I think it would be kind of lame to, hop away. I feel like they did have plans for subsequent seasons.
Yeah. I think
go ahead, Ezra.
No, yeah, I just think that season 1 does like an awesome job of setting up those characters and keeping them so engaging that it's really, I think it was really easy to bring all those characters into like subsequent seasons and stuff like that. I think it would have just been a shame for you to get to know all these great characters and then just like ditch them, you know, and stuff like that, because there's still so much. Like, you want to learn more about Hopper, and you want to learn more about Hopper and Joyce. What's going to happen to Steve, Jonathan, and Nancy? Steve, I mean, come on, like,
no.
Imagine only getting season 1 Steve. That would be such,
that would be horrible.
You'd be missing out on so much. So I think it's a great thing that they did more seasons, because I don't know, you just got a lot of really good story.
Yeah, who is saying this online? I'm genuinely curious. I've never heard this take before.
I've heard various people from like Cosmonaut.
Okay, Cosmonaut's a retard.
Hey, he's not. He's good.
He's
Why do you hate him so much?
I like
he is
him.
like the worst takes I've ever heard.
But he has takes. No, I've heard people say that it should have just stopped after 1 season, and I think that's outrageous.
Yeah? What?
Yeah, well, I agree with you guys that I'm glad they continued on with the different characters. I think it's an interesting take, though, because in some ways, I think later seasons have a bit of like diminishing returns as compared to the first season. But I agree that it does a good job of fleshing out these characters. And like you guys were saying, like, we just wouldn't have gotten any of the Steve moments if it had just been from his character in season 1. So overall, great season of TV. I think when I had first seen it, I would have given it like a 9 out of 10. And nowadays I'd probably give it like a strong 8 out of 10. I think it's
I'm
a
at
very
an 8
good,
as well.
Yeah, I think it's a very good first season of TV. I think it's very fun. It's got some great humorous bits, great characters, great introduction to this world. It's my favorite season of the show. I don't know if you guys feel the same way.
I think that season is pretty darn perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, for what it is, like, I acknowledge that it has some issues maybe. But for what it is,
they're minimal.
Okay, if I have an issue, I think the end episode is a little underwhelming. Maybe you guys don't feel this way, but I kind of felt that way ever since the first time I saw it. I kind of wished that maybe there was a bit more meat to it, that final episode. But
yeah, that had me more hyped than anything for season 2.
Really?
I'm gonna be honest.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you know, maybe that's just my own dumb opinion, but I love season 1. It's what got us into the show, you know? So season 1, strong 8 out of 10. Great season of TV.
I want to bring in some extra pieces too.
Yeah.
Just going into season 5, the side characters in this season, I think side characters are an interesting topic throughout the show, but right off the bat with Barb, like the amount that people talked about Barb, like at Comic-Cons, Barb was all over the place. Justice for Barb was being sung from the rooftops. Like, people were so invested in not only the main characters, but these side characters as well. So much so that I think that had a pretty big impact on how season 2 was written, the Justice for Barb stuff. I also want to point off right off the bat, going kind of character by character, Hopper in this season you mentioned, he's very serious and careful, yet he's reasonable and understanding. That is the way his character is established, and I think and we can talk about it as we get to the later seasons, I do think that changes quite a bit in not great ways, and then kind of comes back, and then I don't know what happens after that really, but I really enjoy the character of Hopper. Also, right off the bat, going into Jonathan, I like the relationship Jonathan has with his mom, but I also think Jonathan kind of sucks as a character. I do not like Jonathan.
Kind of agree.
And right off the bat, we got him taking pictures of Nancy as she's like dressing, which is really weird and creepy. And it's very strange how he reasons that. He's like, it was an artistic moment. And for whatever reason, she thinks that's okay.
Your Honor, it was an artistic moment.
Your Honor, there were some liberties taken, but for the sake of art.
For the sake of art, Your Honor.
Like, who is this pervert kid? And I don't like him very much.
Although, I think Jonathan still is a well-written character in that season.
I do, in that season.
In the Duffers do give us like reasons, like they don't just lean full into the, I feel like, the trope of just like nerdy misunderstood kid. Like they do give Jonathan a little bit of like, just humanity, as in he does stuff that we don't agree with, and he does have stuff for us to reason with Steve's side of like, what he does. And but still, like, you also look at Jonathan, and you also look at how just like garbage his life is and stuff like that. I just think it does, like, it makes him like a pretty good character,
especially in how he interacts with his mom. I like that a lot.
Yeah, the part where he's yelling at her on the sidewalk is a great scene.
Or even with Will, like there's some really touching moments throughout the whole series with Jonathan and Will. And while I do think that he just does not get his due justice in the rest of the series, like they basically just have no idea what to do with him after season 2. I think in the first season he's a well-written character. I agree.
Yeah. Regan, do you have any thoughts about season 1?
I just really like the dynamic between Mike, Dustin, and Lucas in season 1, because they're all like they're super driven to find Will, all in their own ways.
So good.
But then the inclusion, like when 11 shows up, they all have like different opinions about it, and I really like how they react differently to it. Especially Lucas. Like Lucas, honestly, is maybe the sleeper character. I think he's great in like almost all the seasons. And Dustin, especially too in season 1, he's not relegated to just being the "do you copy" radio person in season 1. So it's a good dynamic, and I wish some of the other seasons would have followed up on that. So
I agree with that take, Regan.
Also, I'd say with side characters, what you were talking about, just like you have your core cast of characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
With Dustin and Lucas and Will and 11 and everything, and that's a really good thing. And then I think a lot of other TV shows really do make side characters just side characters. But I'd say like with this show, and what they do just like an awesome job at as well is like, we get happy when we see Mr. Clark. Like, we can name the side characters out and name their characteristics. Like, we see
Ted
Mr.
Wheeler.
Clark, Ted Wheeler.
Ted Wheeler,
Ted
dude.
Wheeler.
The goat. The goat, dude.
Someone else I even think of who is consistent, they are consistent with their side characters, is the 2 police officers that are Hopper's, like, right-hand men. Like,
where are they in subsequent seasons?
They're in all the subsequent seasons. You see them.
But, like
I don't think they were in season 5. Yeah, they were in 5.
Not 5, which drops the ball. But the thing is, like, and this is jumping ahead, but like I see I'm just gonna refer to them with their race because I can't remember their names. The black police officer, he's there and everything, and then you see him.
You would. I'm just kidding.
And then you see him later on in season 4, and he's the police chief. But then like you see also the white police officer. So they just do an awesome job in season 1 in like making their side characters still human beings and not just like replaceable. Oh, we can.
That's a really good point.
Kick him if we want. I just really like the side character setup.
I agree. Yeah, it's kind of like Coen Brothers-esque, where there's not a single unimportant character, even if the character only has 3 minutes of screen time. They make him as interesting and as unique as possible.
And they give them enough character that I think this is kind of a strength with the show. They give them enough character that if they need to, or if they want to bring them into a bigger role into the show, it isn't jarring. Like, I know this person, and they've already been in the show, and I've already seen them a few times, so it isn't jarring for them to just bring them into the show.
Yeah.
Last thing I think we can probably point out before we move on is just, you talked about the world building and the 80s aesthetic, but I just love the mystery of the Upside Down. There's just so much we don't know. And that was so exciting as a wee lad, getting to see all these things and to kind of wonder what those were all about. And that had me so excited for later seasons to figure out what's up with the Upside Down and what are these creatures inside and what is it with Eleven's powers and all the experiments and Papa and all those things. So I think that was so strong. And even if it is referencing other things, I think it is, in a sense, original.
Yeah, no, it's its own. It's its own thing enough that it stands apart. The vibes of the Upside Down in the first season are so immaculate too. Like in subsequent seasons, like he has to wear a hazmat suit.
Yes.
And there are toxic fumes in the air, and it's filmed in such a grimy, slimy way. And like I said, in subsequent seasons, it just kind of feels ordinary after a while. It's like, oh, we're in the Upside Down again. Like, okay, we don't need to wear a hazmat suit. Robin in this last episode is literally like rolling down the window in the truck as they're driving home. It's like, okay, like I guess the Upside Down.
Hey, listen, Robin is kind of retarded. So
hush up, be quiet. Okay. Don't talk bad about her.
I love Robin,
will.
So
okay.
But yeah, season 1, fantastic.